All right, thank you very much for the introduction, Martin. My role at the University of Leicester in the UK is that I'm in charge of the work package 3 on biomass change and the ESA CCR biomass. And I have been working very closely with Kenya since 2014 in various different research contexts. I also work in the National Centre for Earth Observation in the UK, which is funded by the Natural Environment Research Council. So I'm going to talk about my personal interpretation of the national user requirements from Kenya. It was not possible to get someone from the Kenyan team to take part in the meeting today, unfortunately, but I have been in contact with them. And I'm planning to travel to Kenya again in hopefully September, if everything goes all right, to talk to the forestry team about their evolving user requirements and what the status of the REDD+ implementation in Kenya is. So this is my personal take on the national user requirements based on previous REDD+ roundtable stakeholder meetings I've been involved in Kenya, as well as my contacts with the Kenya Forest Service in particular, but also other stakeholders in that context. First of all, Kenya's forests are vital for its economic development, for livelihoods, especially in rural areas, and many ecosystem services that underpin key economic sectors such as agriculture, tourism, horticulture, wildlife, and energy. In fact, the non-timber ecosystem services of forests in Kenya far outweigh the value of the timber that is stored in the forest. So especially the water in Kenya is very important, and especially with the large urban areas around Nairobi and so on, the forested areas are very important for providing fresh water. So some of the natural forests in Kenya in the mountain areas are also called Kenya's water towers for that reason, because the Kenyan government recognizes the need for water capture in forest areas. Kenya loses about 12,000 hectares of forest each year through deforestation currently. And we've been working with the Kenyan government on implementing Sentinel-2 based deforestation alerts. We are just about to start the next project, which will empower the county administrations to also implement their own monitoring system. And the pressures on forests come mainly from fuel wood collection, from charcoal production, land take for settlements, infrastructure projects, wood production, and conversion to agriculture. This information can also be found in the Kenya Forest Carbon Partnership Facility link on this slide. Kenya has a national climate change action plan, and that plan sets out a coordinated approach with incentives for forest conservation and management in Kenya. The aim of that plan is to protect and manage forests sustainably and reduce greenhouse gas emissions to meet national targets. Kenya is also quite unique in the world in that it has a constitutional target for tree cover, increasing its tree cover to 10% of its land area by 2030. It's currently about 6%, so it's not a very easy task to do. It's a big area in relation to the current forest area. The Climate Action Plan represents the implementation framework of the Nationally Determined Contribution, or NDC, under the Paris Agreement for Kenya. And the current plan is valid until 2023, so next year. So what is Kenya doing under the Paris Agreement? The Forest Carbon Partnership Facility has funded a project on Kenya's nationally determined contributions and was supported by UNDP. The link is on this slide if you want to follow this. And Kenya has a national REDD+ strategy and submitted its forest reference levels, or FRLs, under that REDD+ strategy framework. Kenya has developed a national forest monitoring system that includes both plot data and remote sensing and earth observation, and has approaches for measuring, reporting, and verification of emission reductions to achieve the REDD+ readiness. And Kenya seeks to transition to the REDD+ investment phase, which will unlock the flow of climate finance for the implementation of its NDC. That really is the main user need for biomass data. So the REDD+ investment phase is the ultimate goal. A national forest definition for REDD+ has been agreed by the stakeholders in the REDD+ roundtable. and it includes a minimum of 15% of canopy cover, minimum land area of 0.5 hectare, and the potential to reach a minimum height of 2 meters at maturity. The forest reference emission levels are calculated for a reference period of 2002 to 2018. And that already sets out some difficulties in actually estimating the biomass changes over that time period, because biomass maps are not available for the base year of 2002, and certainly not for all the years in that time. There is a system for land-based emission estimation for Kenya. That's called SLEEK for short. And that developed a time series of maps from Landsat for periods between 1 and 5 years over that time frame, starting in 1990 and going to 2018. Kenya has biomass data from about 120 forest inventory plots, and they were used to determine the forest reference emission levels for this period, together with the SLEEK forest maps. The historical CO2 emissions from deforestation and forest degradation in Kenya are shown on this slide, and this comes from the national FRL report that Kenya submitted to the UNFCCC Secretariat. The classification of land cover that is classified as forest is shown on the left-hand side. So forest includes montane and western rainforest and bamboo forests, but also coastal and mangrove forests, dryland forests, and plantation forests. But it excludes certain types of wooded grasslands that are classed as non-forest. Now, on the right-hand side, you can see the trend of forest cover change according to the SLEEK maps up to 2018, when the maps are available currently, or when they were available at the time the report was submitted. And there is a bit of a decline in percent forest cover. So clearly the intention is to revert that and get the forest cover up from 6% to 10% in not very much time at all, in the next 7 years. The historical CO2 emissions from deforestation are shown in the table, and also the bottom table shows the forest degradation emissions. And it's clear from those that actually there is some significant carbon emission from deforestation and forest degradation, despite the intentions in Kenya to actually increase its forest cover. We have worked together with the Kenya Forest Service on the creation of forest above ground biomass maps for Kenya at a national scale, and this is one of the outcomes. It's an above ground biomass map we have produced in the National Center for Earth Observation based on Landsat 8 and ELOS Pulsar 2. We've produced an uncertainty layer for that biomass map as well. And we've used the water mask and the SLEEK forest mask. In our case, we have included the wooded grasslands because they actually turn out to have a lot of biomass. And the map looks very good. It's actually produced very good validation results as well, of with an RMSE of about 35.9 tons per hectare. That methodology has also been handed over to the Kenya Forest Service, and they have the capability in-house now to produce the maps as well. And I want to finish with one summary slide. The key sentence, I think, is that Kenya seeks to transition to the REDD+ investment phase to unlock the climate finance for its NDCs. Now, above ground forest biomass and biomass change maps are needed to update Kenya's reports to the UNFCCC Secretariat and monitor progress towards the NDC achievements and the climate goals. Remote sensing data sets on biomass can potentially augment or replace the number of forest inventory plots, which is quite low. And the key thing for Earth observation-based data sets on biomass and biomass change to be useful for Kenya is that there must be standing up to scrutiny by the UNFCCC REDD+ review process. So that really is key. And I do wonder whether we need to do more in the CCI biomass to actually engage with that process and see whether we can develop something robust. And I want to finish with that thought. So thank you very much for your attention.
Heiko, thank you very much for this